results, it means you have to follow exactly what it is we say, right? So I basically scourged the mother and the father. I said, let me tell you something. You see this food drink going to give him this child? Stop it. Out of that. Diet change, he will start to run the ball, I'll give him certain things. This child is taking insulin, 30 units of insulin in the morning and 30 units of insulin in the night. That is madness. A 5-year-old child. And I'm telling you all this for you all to understand the magnitude of what people are going through in this place. So I told his mother, I said, I'm going to paint a picture for you that you wouldn't like, but I'm going to paint it in any case. I said, you see this 5.5-year-old boy that you have here, 6 years? If he continues taking this insulin and continues on the lifestyle that he's on, you're going to reach a point, by the age of 10, he wouldn't be able to see. That's about 4 years from now. He wouldn't be able to see. If he's lucky enough and he reach 15, he's going to have some problems and possibility exists, he might be an amputee. No parent want to hear that. No parent want to hear that. So they decided to do the program and work and that kind of thing. And I can safely say that when he went back to the clinic, the doctors had to take him off of the insulin. So you see what we're talking about? And that I was able to do based on the recommendation, the change in the lifestyle, and supplementation. Now, there are a lot of people who don't understand that food that we have now is not food that we had 1,000, 2,000 years ago. They are real rubbish now. And even if you're eating well, so you have your little salmon and your tuna, if you're fancy so now, like Mr. Bean and things, eat breakfast in the morning, show it off and nice salad, nuts and so if you're fortunate enough to be in that percentile where you can afford that kind of fanciness, you're still at a disadvantage. So think about the people who just get up in the morning, like a client came to me recently, 81 years, he had a problem with sleep. But in observing the gentleman, everything apart from sleep, he has serious neurological problems now. So much so that I told him, and I estimate if he doesn't take care of himself and make certain changes, in about a year to 2 years' time, he's going to be a full Parkinson Alzheimer's case. That is the level of how his nerves basically distorted and what I see going on with him. But he can get help once he continues doing the correct thing and that kind of thing. So I'm saying all of that to say, when I spoke to him, because he had my number, so he called me. He said, Dr. Batson, I feel again better, you know. I said, but how do you feel again better? It's only a week now. You already started the program a week ago. So I said, you eating good? He said, yes. So we're eating. I said, tell me, give me an example of what you had for breakfast. He said, 2 slices of bread and a cup of tea. So you know I listen, me get ready for breakfast. I said, that's a food? I said, who does eat that? 2 slices of bread and a cup of tea? Come on, man. You have neurological problems. Your nerves basically almost frying your head. That is not food. Now, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because it has people in their mind believe that they eat it properly, you know. He's one of them. I said, all right, where are you for lunch? He said, eat some red beans with some rice. I said, what can I make you? He said, he had some chicken. I said, that is all? He said, well, what do you mean that is all? Yeah, that is all. But for his issue that he has, what he's eating there is completely insufficient. So that cannot do anything. So I tell people, think about everybody that you know. I'll use a simple analogy, a car. Imagine, you know the reason why they tell you to service your vehicle at specific mileage as opposed to time? You know why? If you go and buy a vehicle now, brand new, you will get a warranty, and on that warranty, based on that agreement, you are supposed to service your vehicle every 5,000 kilometers or whatever the case may be. You do a general service every what? 20,000 kilometers. Now notice the service of the vehicle is based on the use and the wear and tear of the vehicle. So let's change that now to human beings. You're working hard. You might be a single parent. Might be somebody involved in fitness. You're running in the gym. You're running in a little ball, whatever the case may be. So all those things you're doing. So, and you might be busy. You're running your own business or whatever the case may be. The thing is, when you're servicing you, when was the last time you serviced you? Anybody inside here? When was the last time? People just change filter, you change oil. When last you change your filter? When last you change your oil? Fellas. When last you change your oil? Because listen to me, in Trinidad and Tobago and anywhere in the world, you see, the thing is, we belong right now, or we in the time where health and wellness has no other choice but to go so, you know.
Yeah.
That ain't going down, you know. It's up that going. So the thing is, you want to be at the threshold. You want to be right there when the thing starts so that you're able to do what you do. So I'm saying all of that to say that at the end of the day, people need our help.
Yeah.
They may not be aware in some instances that they need our help. But I, 15 years of experience with what I do in Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something, there are real sick people here. You cannot look at somebody and determine how sick they are. Now, to an extent I could do it because of the years that I've been. Because from the time you see the side of your face here, looking real dark, side here looking dark, here looking dark, you are a stroke patient. You just don't know it. Give yourself about 2 years again and you'll get a stroke. And the thing is, if you get a hemorrhagic stroke, which is a bleeding stroke, there are real problems. So talk about the cost factor associated with that. Quite very practical when I'm talking to people, you know. Because if you're telling me a pack of Bicardio, Kishon is how much?
Yeah, it depends.
It depends, right? He's still working on it, right? That's what he's basically saying. But here you have something that have L-arginine in it.
Yeah.
Listen to me, there isn't an L-arginine supplement. Once it's good, that I have pushed. Look what's wrong, that right here. On average, we get in diabetics. Once you're a diabetic, it means that your L-arginine numbers much lower than they're supposed to. So you need that Bicardio. You may not know that you need it, just like the individual who's servicing the vehicle like they're working from Port of Spain to Barataria. When they work and you wear and tear on the vehicle, it's as if you're working it from Port of Spain to San Fernando. So people just do the body that. You working hard, as I was saying before, you have children, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing the other. But where the service, how you're servicing your body, and that is what we're going to help people to understand. So the thing is, I know Mr. Vane went into the whole financial dynamics and that kind of that's key part of the thing. The health is what we're talking about. You see this product? If we do what we need to do with this, we don't have enough of this in Trinidad and Tobago. Then you sure, let's stop it down in Trinidad. You're forcing things on people or what? You're just meeting people.
Hold on.
You have a person you drop all in water. There's a cell. It's not a man who's a catch thing, you know. I remember a small growing up, I walk with my mother, I catch a socks. I was like, man, give me, boy, come on, give me the socks. It's selling there, you know. The man showed his socks, you know, because he learned in sales. One of the first things they teach in sales is what? Possession is 9/10 of the law. So once you hold that, man, show the thing, I walk in, and mommy, I get a socks. Boy, go and give back the man the socks. And I can't, the man refusing to take the socks, you know. You know my mother ended up buying her socks to me? Possession is 9/10, so you know, always remember that. So, but the point I'm making, people need this. Any disease you call, we have it here, you know. Who would this help? Any, yeah. Women now having serious problem with the menstrual cycle. Let me touch on the ladies a little bit. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's like a chorus now. Serious, you know? You say POCS, and somebody going to do a chant with an A. Because every young lady now, I don't know about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I had a client who came to me, she brought her daughter. Her daughter had a dermoid cyst, which is a cyst that is being the ovary. You know what's the size of the cyst? 16 years. The cyst was the size of a tennis ball. You know what the doctor suggested? Hysterectomy, radical hysterectomy. You know what hysterectomy is? The surgical removal of your uterus. So it means this 16-year-old girl, if she does that, what are the problems she's going to experience? She cannot make any children. That's the least of her worries. The mental state of mind of that young lady, madness. Because there's a total hysterectomy that you do, because the size of the cyst, and because of where it was already fusing on the wall. So anytime a surgeon goes inside of it, he has no other choice but to do a radical hysterectomy. So you have to take out the uterus and the ovaries. In integrative medicine, one of the first things we learn is something called body mapping, where the organs map. So the thing is, your pancreas is part of your digestive system, but your pancreas is also part of your endocrine system, because your pancreas produces insulin. Insulin is what? A hormone that regulates blood sugar levels. So the thing is, in integrative medicine, one of the things that you learn is that the uterus is responsible for circulation. Why do you think one of the side effects of birth control is blood clots in your legs? It affects your systemic circulation, which is circulation below your heart. You have two types of circulation. Well, two primary types of circulation. Pulmonary circulation, which is above your heart, and you have systemic circulation, which is below your heart. Then you have what is known as peripheral circulation, which is circulation in your extremities. So that is where B cardio comes in. Because once your nitric oxide levels correct, you cannot get a cardiovascular accident. I'll repeat that again. Once your nitric oxide levels are correct and in the correct amounts, you cannot get a cardiovascular accident. So it means better improvement in blood pressure. If you're a heart patient, I have done protocols with supplements like that. Quickly, there was an 85-year-old lady at woman, I got a granddaughter brought her to me, this was in Delhi. And the doctors insist that she have to do a triple bypass. You know what a triple bypass is, right? Take your way to sleep, you come up here, and you're going to take some blood vessels from the legs, and you put it up here and you do a bypass, right? 85 years. You don't want your 85-year-old grandmother going to lie down on the table. We ain't sure if Tanti go get up there. You know that? I most certainly not doing that. So they came to me, hold on and short of the story. I recommended a product similar to that B-cardio product, and I gave it for 3 months together with some other things. Because you had a balance depending on where you're dealing. So we know she have a cardiovascular problem, which we know the product like the B-cardio will work, but we also have to do some work on the intestines. So we do some work on the intestines, we do whatever the case will be. She went back to the cardiologist. When the cardiologist checked, he said, whatever you're doing, moms, continue doing it. Just so tell her. I tell her, I said, okay, good, no problem. I said, when you're supposed to see me again? She said, next 3 months from now. I said, good, run it for the next one, go and see me again. Don't say nothing, eh? When I'm and see that, and I talk about one of the most prominent heart specialists in this country, Southern Medical. You know, he told her, he said, wherever it is you're using, continue using it. But hear what? That medication that I gave you, it couldn't be that medication I gave you to that, you know.
Tells you that?
Yeah, he tell her that. You must go. No. No surgery. It has something called an ejection fraction, which is a measurement that they look at to measure the not necessarily sustainability, but your heart's ability as regards to certain functions. So it's called your ejection fraction. When she came to me, her ejection fraction was 45. A good number is 50. An excellent number is 65. At the end of the 6 months, you know where we got her? 67. What? 85 years. You know what the doctor said? He said, that is impossible. But I have heard that is impossible a lot of times in my career. A lot of times they say it is impossible. Nothing is impossible once you give your body what your body needs. So the information that we're talking about and what we're going to help people to understand, all we're giving you is the raw material for your body to make the necessary changes. Because the human body changes and improves itself over time. You know? If you was to go and play mad and try and trim me, a problem, that would definitely be a problem. But in any case, in about 2 years or 3 years time, my hair would be just as long, or maybe close enough to, because it's supposed to do what? Right. So you get new red blood cells every 120 days, which is every 4 months. You know how often you get new bones? Or are you aware that you get new bones? You know that people don't know that? You get, your body gives you new bones. So you get a new musculoskeletal system, which is your bones, tendons, ligaments, that kind of thing, every 2 to 4 years. So it means if you give your body the correct thing over a period of time, it is going to do what? It's going to improve. So our job going forward is to help the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider world understand. Because when I say we right at the crucial point, you know, health and wellness is just going up. My phone has been ringing for the past, yeah boy, no ringing, yeah, but the thing is, when you see a kneel and say your prayers, whatever way this answer, you know. Yeah, if I went through one or two stress and things, and I could tell all of this because I own my business for the past 15 years, right, Batson and Associates. When I started my business, I started selling a herbal tea in the market. Now, plenty of people don't understand. The first time I opened my office, the first office I opened, I couldn't even pay my rent. That was in Shagona State. And when I opened that office, I had one chair. One chair now. And what happened? The client used to sit down on the chair and I used to stand up with the notepad and write by her. Like, serious stuff. Miss Ramdan right there, she can tell you. That young lady has been working for me about just around the same amount of time. Well, about 12, 13 years. So when I say starting the road, I've been from the time of registration and doing certain things. And but when I started getting a little fancy and started our office, that's the point I'm making. Because when I went to rent the place, and the first month rent, you know, you had to pay rent and deposit. Yeah. But I have a reason why I'm telling you all this. What helped me to build my business, despite all the, because you always have ups and downs, you know, you have people inside there. I was looking at when Keishon was talking about what he talking, and he was talking about, you know, they went through a little thing. And all of that is life for you. They go to school all the time. Unless the road we drive in Trinidad Road Sport. We come up there, ask the boss, they a little more again, we didn't reach here, you know. The next side of the day, the boy is going down and have a goal there. So, the road is never easy. I don't have a reason why I'm telling you this, because let me tell you something, at that time I deliver water. You ever drop water? We used to do delivery. I'd started my business with a fella called Big Mike, who's our next urban man from Arukali. I'm a real good brother, and we're good. But he just have a different way of doing things, I have a different way of doing things. So we separate, we have our own business and things, but we have a mutual respect. And you wouldn't believe I met Big Mike on a maxi. He was playing Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when I heard it, because the book, I said, this man, a maxi man playing Rich Dad Poor Dad, boy, this fella had to be special, boy. So when time for me to come on the maxi, now I take a number. That time, yeah, I think, did we have cell phones that time, right? But I check in my age, they were. But in any case, I write my number on a piece of paper and I say, hey boss, man, when I pay them, I say, hey, what I want a copy of that audio you have here. And he say, yeah, no problem, and he invite me to a meeting. This is how this thing started. I was working once for some years before, but I was studying and thing. End up losing my job once I said, no, but I felt like this get plenty of trouble. Eh? I don't tolerate stupidness at all. Like, I don't care who he is. You're on stupidness. I lined you up one time, brother man, here was. I don't see we can't get along. You hold your corner there and I go stay on this side. No vex, you know. That is October, man, people. 17th of October is when I go. Yeah. So in any case, we take that kind of thing. And that is when it started. You know what we do? We buy one pack of tea. You know how much was the pack of tea? $2,200. You know, them time you're working and you're paying your little rent, you know, you're living on your own, whatever the case may be, ting. But when I lost that job and I realized I had to pay my rent, I had to do this and do that. That is when I found out about network marketing. Let me tell you something. And I mean, I must be preaching to the choir here, but there is nothing better than network marketing. Look at about the food. They go talk Paramin scheme, they go talk all kind of thing. I see the government give you a special law, they take special people to read that law. When you read it, you know what, you have to be careful, you have to make sure wherever you're giving people, it have an exchange, get them badge and collect your $2 or pro and collect your $5, but make sure it have an equitable exchange. Yeah. That's in the whole big thing about it. But I'm saying all of that to say, there's something real good here. And take advantage of what Batson Associates will give you. You know we give it on it. Anybody that you have who come into us, because the specialization we have is basically to take those products and make them tools to help people. That is where my strong point in integrative medicine comes. When people talk about Jason Batson, I always try to remain as humble as I possibly can, because I always tell people, regardless of who you are, what you have, whatever people think about you, at the end of the day, we are all the same, basically, at the end of the day. So I help anybody, anytime. But what we're going to do, we're going to guide them in such a way that when we help them, we don't only have their testimony, you know, Because you know there's something called placebo, right? You know what placebo is? I'll give all a quick explanation. So if they want to do so let's say they do a diabetic drug. So in the clinical studies, let's say they have 100 diabetics. What they're going to do, they're going to take the correct drug that they made, and let's say they give 50 persons to take it, and the next 50 persons they'll give a water tablet. But they do not tell them that they're getting a water tablet. The objective of them telling them that is to see something they call a placebo effect. And the placebo effect magnifies and amplifies what we always tell people when the human body is concerned. That this governs a lot. So because that person mentally believes in their mind that is a blood sugar medication you give them, the blood sugar goes down. So that is what they call a placebo effect. Yeah. In integrative medicine, we call it something known as neuroplasticity. And what that is just a big terminology to mean that they have proven that the human brain is designed in such a way that you would know certain things the way your brain, in terms of brain connectivity. So you have neurons and something known as synaptic response. So that whole, I ain't trying to give you all a science class here. But what it basically means is that any circumstance they put you in, your brain is automatically going to start to change the wiring of the brain in order to adapt to that particular situation. So that's why people could become athletes and they could do certain things. So it's basically practice, you know, say practice makes perfect. Yeah. Right. So that placebo effect is what really shows that particular situation. But the point I'm making is that with what we have here and what the individuals that we have to deal with, we're going to get the results that we want. And that's what Batson and Associates is going to do. Because apart from the testimony, because you're going to get testimony, how much people give a testimony when it's shrink already? Plenty. So you can imagine we had somebody who wanted to do a blood test. Let me say we send you to do an ESR. Right? ESR is something known as erythrocyte sedimentation ratio. That's just a big terminology to show the amount of inflammation that you have in your body. So, okay, people who would have high ESRs, diabetics, rheumatoid arthritis, anybody with arthritis have a high ESR. So you can imagine you have a client who come, we send them to do the blood test in a reputable lab, because Batson didn't have no labs yet. So they can't say Batson change up the results. And they check the ESR, and let's say the ESR is 60. And this is things that we have done before. So let's say the ESR is 60. You give them, you give them good. This company has an immune product. Real good. It's actually based on something called transfer factor. And transfer factor is a molecule that has been scientifically proven to educate your immune system and help your immune system to scientifically increase and improve by about 75%. And that's science-based. This company have a product like that. So if we deal, let me say you bring a lupus patient for me, I like them because them is trouble, they sick, them don't get help, them can't fix. We're going to fix that. Yeah. But the point I'm making is that you now have a testimony and you have empirical data, which is a lab test, whether it's a CPC with ESR, whatever the case may be. This person do the protocol for 3 months, 6 months, and they go back and do the test. So let me say the ESR was 60, the correct figure is supposed to be 0 to 15, 0 to 20. So let's say we get our person back and we get it to 13. What's going on there? Madness. Craziness. Kishon say correct. Watch me. They cannot fight that.
Madness.
And what we have to understand, all we helping people is nutrition. That is it. Don't tell nobody nothing about no nutrition. You cannot get locked up for that. Nutrition. If I give you green fig, nutrition, there's iron in it. If you drink some, what do you call this porridge, boy? Not Quaker Oats, not Sago, the next one, the white one. Cream of wheat.
Yeah.
If you drink cream of wheat, that's iron, folic acid, B12, B1. What that is? Not food.
Yeah.
CMOS, B-cardio, L-arginine, L-citrulline. You know what that is do? That is the precursor to nitric oxide. What is nitric oxide? Nitric oxide is your body's natural vasodilator, vasoconstrictor. Every single biological function in the cardiovascular system requires the presence of nitric oxide. Do you know that as you age, your nitric oxide levels does what? Decrease. Any man, in order for you to attain
Yeah.
Big people business,
Yeah.
you have to have nitric oxide. Must. You will avoid if you're a hypertensive patient. Well, you know many people in this country have hypertension.
Oh.
High numbers. Do you know what follows after high blood pressure? Renal failure. You know how much dialysis machines we have in this country? I go and open my dialysis office in the morning. So let us do what we need to do. Let me just show you something quickly. So this here is a sample that Ms. Ramdan did. There's something we do at Batson Associates called dark field microscopy. So there's a live blood sample. Ms. Ramdan, just give me a little run on the spoon now. Now if you look at here, these are the red blood cells. We can get a light or something. They can touch the light in here, or too much darkness. Or is it one main thing that everything? Just check and see. Alright, yeah. We can look at it. Yeah. So y'all see it?
Yeah.
Nice. So the thing is, this is red blood cells primarily. These are erythrocytes. Now this is something we call erythrocyte aggregation. Erythrocyte red blood cells aggregate means to stick together. So like there's a cement business taking place here. This is too much love in this situation. They're too close. They need to learn social distancing. This is too close here. But this gives you an indication of a number of things. So this particular person, not to frighten you, we will tell you who blood it is. But it means that this person, one, they're dehydrated, they don't drink enough water. First thing. The rule for drinking water is your body weight divided by 2 ounces. Right? The next thing, possibility of some sort of cardiovascular issue could be some hypertension. Mr. Ramdan, do you have a favor? Go lower down for me. Go. I was seeing some protoblast just now. Go right to that. What it is we're going to do the next time. Yeah, okay, stop here. Yeah, let's see what we're doing here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's a serious thing. So this is fibrin. If it is, you look at it carefully. Mr. Ramdan, see if you can bring it up here for me. Right. Yeah, good, right. If you look at this here, and there's a protoplast with fibrin. So this, whenever you get cut, it has something that your body does normally make something what we call scab. Part of that scab that we call scab is actually fibrin. Fibrin is a protein that's responsible for blood clotting. When you see this early in a sample, it means this person has problems with the circulation. So this person is an ideal candidate for what? B cardio. One of the next things too as well, do me a favor, Mr. Ramdan, stress the blood before you go on to the next time. How much samples is this you took?
Yeah.
4? And what you did? 2 live and 2 dry? Alright, very good. Come again. Nice. You see? So what we did, we stressed the blood, which means we basically raised the microscope up and hit it a little bit. So that normally gets the blood to move the way we want it to move. But notice we really get much movement.
Yeah.
If it is you look at here too, you actually see this is problem indication of digestion. Because if you look at this, you would realize you see some of them looking like this, so like they stick up like this, and then you see some of them like this. Right. So this stacking here is something we call Rolo. Rolo is indication of liver stress. What's the purpose of your liver? Your liver has multiple functions, over 500 different functions. One of the functions of your liver is to convert protein to amino acid to protein. So it means this person possibly have problems with sleep. They don't sleep properly. They also have issues associated with, as I said before, dehydration. Need to drink more water. One of the things we will be able to do, and Keisha is something that we could allow, is that when we're doing presentations like this,
yeah,
we do a before and after, but in that particular case, that the sample that we will take, we'll have to know that is that person's sample.
Yeah.
So that person is going to have to volunteer and say, okay, the sample is mine, Jason Batson, that's it. And then what we do the sample before, and then we give them the bicardio to drink.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes after, and we take the sample again.
Yeah.
You'll see a significant difference. And that's one of the ways. Yeah. So this here now,
This is our next sample.
this is our next sample.
person.
So you all notice the difference with this person's sample and the other one?
I still blood?
Yeah, it's still blood. Nothing will change here. and the thing is, okay, so this particular person, if you look at something here, you notice you're seeing, so these are the blood cells, but this is still this space. So it means this person is drinking the water. However, they have a problem with digestion. If you notice some of the blood cells, you notice they have like tips on them. Yeah. That's an indication of problems with enzymes, low enzymes. The thing is, because human beings, because we cook our food, and sometimes we overcook the food, we keep denatures enzymes. Enzymes are responsible for what? Your body's ability to break down or assimilate food. So that's why we have a lot of people who have problems with acid reflux. So this person could have either a problem with acid reflux, good problem with they belch a lot, they could have problems with constipation as well. Yeah, give me a, go down. Down. Yeah. As well too, if you notice, some of the blood cells, they look nice and round. This one looks very good. You notice, you see this one, it looks like it's broken, like the sides, looking like concords. Yeah, that's an indication. So one of the next issues to this individual, it points to some sort of anemic situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be iron deficient anemia, because you have plenty different types of anemia. Anemia is the medical term for low blood count. Right? But you have iron deficient anemia. You could have people who have problems with anemia where the iron is correct, but they have problem with B vitamins. So B1, B6, B12, that type of thing. So it again means that this individual, they need to, the possibility exists, as I said, that they have problems with low blood counts. So definitely looking at things like the greens, your B-cardio. There's a product that they have too, I saw, is because what I actually do is now looking at the company products in the full detail in terms of the ingredient profile and that kind of thing. So with that now, we will actually be able to make better combinations of persons. So like I'll give you an example. Let's say we deal with somebody who's hypertensive. Hypertensive people, you don't ever want a hypertensive individual to take any supplement that is going to clean the blood too fast. Because remember, if you're hypertensive, hypertension usually means that you have thicker blood than usual. So if you have somebody, for example, who are accustomed getting like about 150, 175 over 85, 90, if the lower number usually over 85, that type of thing, the point I'm making, we're going to have to let them do water. So we're going to do what we call a water cleanse. So it means that person, because of the dehydration, we need to get the blood flowing and that type of thing. And then after we will give them something like the cardio. The reason for that is you don't want to give a hypertensive person that just like that. Because the possibility exists if they dehydrated and the blood thick. What's going to happen? The blood going to start to move. So you don't want thick blood moving through that. That could actually send the blood pressure even higher.